Hello, everyone. Welcome back to new episode, and thank you for joining me for part 2 of Think in English Naturally. In part 1, we discovered why so many English learners translate every sentence in their heads. We also learned that thinking in English is a habit, not a special talent. Like any habit, it becomes stronger with practice. Today, we're going to take the next step. We're going to learn how to train your brain to think directly in English, just as naturally as you think in your first language. You don't need to study for hours every day. You don't need to memorize hundreds of new words. You simply need to practice the right way. So, let's begin. Your brain learns through daily experiences. Think about your native language for a moment. Did you learn it by reading grammar books when you were 2 years old? Of course not. You learn by listening. You learn by watching. You learn by repeating. Every day, people around you spoke the language. You heard the same words again and again. Slowly, your brain connected those sounds to people, objects, actions, and feelings. Nobody showed you a dictionary every 5 minutes. Nobody asked you to memorize hundreds of vocabulary words before you could speak. You simply lived in the language. Now ask yourself this question: do you live in English every day? For many learners, the answer is no. They study English for 30 minutes, then spend the rest of the day thinking, reading, watching, and speaking in their native language. Their brain switches off English as soon as the lesson ends. If you want to think naturally in English, you need to invite English into your daily life. Create an English environment. Don't worry, you don't have to move to another country. You can build an English environment wherever you are. Start with small changes. Change your phone's language to English. Read simple news in English. Watch YouTube videos with English subtitles. Listen to English podcasts while cooking, walking, or cleaning your room. Write your daily to-do list in English. Instead of writing buy vegetables, write buy vegetables. Instead of these tiny changes may seem unimportant, but together they create an English environment. The more English you see every day, the more comfortable your brain becomes. Learn phrases, not just words. Here's a mistake many learners make. They study vocabulary like this: happy, beautiful, interesting, busy, forget. Remember, these are useful words, but learning them alone isn't enough. Your brain doesn't usually think in single words. It thinks in groups of words. For example, I'm really happy today. That's interesting. I forgot my keys. I don't remember. I'm very busy. These complete phrases are much easier to use during conversations. Imagine someone asks, "How are you today?" If you've practiced the phrase, "I'm doing great," you don't have to build the sentence from the beginning. It comes automatically. That's why learning phrases is so powerful. Describe your actions. Here's another simple exercise. Whatever you're doing, describe it in English. If you're making tea, think, "I'm boiling water." "I'm putting tea into the cup." "The tea smells nice." "I'm waiting for it to cool." If you're walking outside, think, "The weather is warm." "There are many cars." "I can hear birds." "The sky is clear." Notice that you're not translating. You're simply observing your surroundings in English. This is exactly how your brain begins building automatic English. Don't fear. Simple English. Sometimes learners think, "My English is too simple." But simple English is the foundation of fluent English. Imagine a conversation like this: "What did you do yesterday?" "I stayed home." "What did you do at home?" "I watched a movie." "What movie did you watch?" "I watched a comedy. It was funny and it made me laugh." Those are simple sentences, but they create a real conversation. Many native speakers use simple English every day. They don't choose difficult words just to sound intelligent. They choose words that communicate clearly. Remember, simple English spoken confidently is far more effective than complicated English spoken with hesitation. Practice without looking at your native language. Many learners use bilingual books. They read one sentence in English, then they immediately read the translation. This creates another habit of translating. Instead, try reading short English texts without checking your native language every few seconds. If you don't understand one word, don't stop immediately. Try to understand the sentence from the context. For example, the little boy picked up his backpack and ran to school. Maybe you don't know the word backpack, but you understand that the boy picked something up before going to school. Your brain begins guessing naturally. This is how language learning becomes more natural. Build an English diary. Here's one of my favorite exercises. Every evening, write 5 simple sentences about your day. For example, today I woke up at 6:30. I had eggs and toast for breakfast. I worked until 5 o'clock. I studied English for 20 minutes. I'm feeling tired, but I'm happy. Don't worry about making mistakes. The purpose isn't perfection. The purpose is thinking in English. After writing, read your sentences aloud. Now you're practicing writing, reading, speaking, and thinking all at the same time. Stop translating feelings. Most people translate actions, but they also translate emotions. For example, instead of feeling hungry and immediately thinking in your native language, practice saying, I'm hungry. When you're tired, I'm tired. When you're excited, I'm excited. When you're worried, I'm a little nervous. Feelings happen naturally throughout the day. They give you hundreds of chances to think in English without extra study time. The power of repetition. Let's talk about repetition. Sometimes learners say, I already know this sentence. That's wonderful. Now say it 100 more times. Why? Because knowing something isn't the same as using it automatically. Think about your favorite song. Why can you remember the lyrics? Because you've heard them many times. The same thing happens with English. Repeat useful sentences until they become part of your natural thinking. For example, I don't know. I think so. Maybe later. I'm not sure. That sounds great. Repeat these phrases often. One day, they'll come out without any effort, a speaking exercise. Let's practice together. I'll ask a question. Answer it out loud. Don't worry if your answer isn't perfect. Question 1. What are you doing right now? Pause this episode if you need more time. Now another question. What did you eat today? Why did you choose that food? Question 3. What are your plans for tomorrow? Question 4. Describe the room you're in. Question 5. How are you feeling today? Notice something. You probably answered using simple English, and that's exactly what you should do. Simple English builds confidence. Confidence builds fluency, your 10-minute English habit. Here's a routine you can begin tomorrow. First 2 minutes, think about your morning in English. Next 2 minutes, describe your surroundings. Next 2 minutes, talk about your plans for the day. Next 2 minutes, read one short paragraph aloud. Final 2 minutes, tell yourself a short story about yesterday. 10 minutes, that's all. If you practice this every day for 1 month, you'll begin noticing that English thoughts appear more quickly and naturally. Before we end, Part 2. Today, we learned that thinking in English doesn't require a perfect vocabulary or advanced grammar. It requires daily exposure and consistent practice. Remember today's key lessons. Surround yourself with English every day. Learn complete phrases instead of single words. Describe your actions throughout the day. Don't be afraid of simple English. Read without depending on translations. Keep a short English diary. Think about your feelings in English. Repeat useful phrases until they become automatic. These habits may seem small, but together they transform the way your brain processes English. In part 3, we'll explore one of the biggest obstacles to fluent thinking, the fear of making mistakes. You'll learn why mistakes are actually helping your brain, how to stop overthinking every sentence, and how to become more confident every time you speak. Until then, keep practicing, keep thinking in English, and remember this: every English thought you have today makes the next one easier. One simple sentence at a time, you're building a fluent English mind. I'll see you in next part.